SLZ's two main VR games are Bonelab and Boneworks. Although many people would say these two games are practically the same, they do have lots of differences. Today we're going to be going over those differences and seeing which game is actually better. To determine which game is superior to the other, we're going to be ranking them in different factors, and whichever game has the most better factors is obviously going to be the better game. First, we'll be starting off with an arguably important factor: movement. The movement is a little bit harder to qualify because both of the games have their own traits. For example, Bonelab's climbing is really bad, but when you try to crouch and walk forwards in Boneworks, it automatically makes you stand up. So with that taken into account, the movement in both games is relatively equal, but it can be made so much better thanks to some Kiwi design controller grips. You see, these grips aren't like any other ones. They have their own knuckle straps that allow you to completely let go of the controller and it stays in your hands without going anywhere. These straps allow for much more controlled and precise movements in VR when in fast and chaotic moments. On top of that, they have their own easily accessible battery compartments, ensuring changing batteries will never be a struggle but a quick and simple maneuver. So if you don't want to get annoyed at changing batteries again or dropping your controllers, get some from scanning this QR code, or by clicking the link in the description. And thank you so much to Kiwi Design for sponsoring this video. Next we'll be moving on to the graphics, and I think it's pretty clear which game is going to be the winner here, but we're still going to do some comparing anyway. So here's an image of Ford's arm in Boneworks, and here's one of his arm in Bonelab. The Boneworks Ford arm does look better, but that's because the textures aren't compressed like they are in Bonelab. You see, Bonelab was meant to be a game compatible with standalone quests, so this means that the textures basically had to be compressed as well as some graphics had to be tuned down so it could easily run on standalone VRs. Whereas at the time of Boneworks' release, I don't think standalone even existed yet. So most of the textures sit around 4K and the graphics are still very good because this game was only meant for PC VR. So it looks like Boneworks is going to get the point for this one. So next we'll be moving on to the physics. Boneworks' physics were a drastic improvement from the past games that SLZ has made. Although having very good physics compared to many other VR games out there, Bonelab was meant to be the improvement physics-wise of Boneworks. So naturally, SLZ would have put lots more effort in the physics part of Bonelab, which they indeed have, and you can really see this improvement if you look at the difference between the Boneworks rig and the Bonelab rig. For example, when it comes to colliders, the Boneworks' rig's arms only have wrist colliders, and the Bonelab colliders fully cover the arms. Unfortunately, the legs on both rigs only have a single collider. There isn't one collider for each leg, although this will change with Bonelab patch 789. So the main point of improvement here is actually the rig, as Bonelab and Boneworks both share the same physics engine, Marrow 1. So after that, I think Bonelab should get the point for the physics. The next category will be about mods. When I say mods, I mean mods in general, like code mods and mod.io mods. So overall, in both games you can actually get mods, but it's a little bit harder in Boneworks, as the only form of mods is code mods. In order to get code mods, you have to inject your game with something called Melon Loader. You could basically see Melon Loader as the middleman, as all Melon Loader does is it gets the mods made by the community and pretty much modifies them into the game, which is where the word mod comes from. It's short for modification. But Bonelab, on the other hand, actually has inbuilt mod connection. To make it simple, you pretty much just have to connect your account to this certain website, subscribe to mods on that website, and then it just automatically downloads in Bonelab. So overall, Boneworks only has code mods, but Bonelab has integrated mods as well as code mods. So overall, I think the point for the mod should go to Bonelab, since it has way more mods than Boneworks. Now there are so many more categories than the four that I talked about, so if you want to see a more in-depth comparison, go and watch the video linked in the description, which is actually the video that I got my inspiration from for this video. With all of that being said, thank you so much for watching and please subscribe as it helps me out a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video.